right now, I see a grandfather energy around you.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I have chills, and that's my body's truth. So I see a grandfather.
so recently I went to Orlando on I did a speaking gig, and the last time I did the speaking engagement, it was in English, and I did that 2 weeks prior in San Antonio, and then I had a translator. I just didn't connect with the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Like the audience was Spanish speaking, and even though like speakers like Rob Kiyosaki
Mm-hmm.
was like 2 sessions before me, and you know he spoke English, he doesn't speak any Spanish. They still liked him, they still connected with him, but it wasn't the same. And so I said, okay, I'm going to get over myself, and I'm going to speak Spanish. And so I worked with the tutor because I was like, I know I have the vocabulary, I have the accent and the pronunciation. I just need to practice and I can do it. And I ended up finding this amazing tutor. He was a teacher in Peru, so he knew about how to present. He taught writing. So I said, I need you to help me make it simple words. It has to land like everything that we learn in speaking. Like it has to, you know, I have to feel like I'm connecting with the audience. He helped me do it. And he was like part motivational speaker. He was like, you have to believe that you can speak it. You can do it.
Yes.
He was so motivating and sweet. And I even like that day he made me cry. And I said, you know, my grandparents, my grandmother, she didn't speak English.
Yeah.
And I was one of the only cousins that actually made an effort to talk to her because I was just so curious to learn. And I hated being called a coconut and stuff like that too.
Right.
And like that day of delivering the speech, it was like, oh, I could still do it in English. The translator's there. The safety net is there. Or I could do it in Spanish. And it was just, I felt her saying, do it in Spanish, Mija. Like, do it. You can do it. You can do it. And yeah, like at that moment, I was like, she's proud of me right now.
She is.
She's proud of me.
That's right. I feel like your grandfather showed up is like because he's silent proud of you.
Really? My grandfather was a raging alcoholic.
That doesn't
Really?
matter.
I never really connected a lot with him.
I know you didn't.
Yeah.
But see, he's still here because that's how he that's how he coped.
Yeah.
That's how he coped with the trauma that he went through. He
lost
wanted to be acknowledged, and he did have heart. Why he came through, I have no idea right now. I mean, your grandmother, you know, is always with you, but you never felt your grandfather. Do you see how you're very explosive?
Yeah. Well,
which is okay.
Yeah, and he's actually connected to the earth. He was a gardener. So he at one point the gardens were beautiful and just like our home was beautiful. And then after he died, of course, my family, they, you know, the grass turned to crabgrass, you know, the flowers died.
Do you see why oh my gosh, I have chills. Do you see why your grandfather came in? He's showing you that's how he found his peace.
The gardening?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have chills all over.
Yeah.
So he's showing you, I don't know what comes forward is like the grass is sometimes not greener, but as long as your grass is green.
Yeah. What's
right?
the saying? Yeah. Yeah.
The grass is not always greener, but he's saying he's switching it. Like I said, I saw there was a grandfather energy around you. I just felt it. So grandma's always around you, but your grandfather wanted to come forward. I don't force them. So that was his way of coping. He had a rough childhood.
Yeah, he had to defend his farm in Mexico with a gun.
There you go.
Like a young age. So yeah.
Do you see?
Yeah, and I because of that, like a lot of that trauma, you know, growing up with an alcoholic passed down in my family.
Yes.
And then I hoped that it wouldn't pass down to my kids too, and I tried my best to not.
Well, you're breaking the generational curse. You're the one breaking it. So you are. It's complete. Because you have the awareness. We're not making your grandfather wrong, but we're not also condoning it. That was his way of coping.
Yeah. It was very dark. You know.
Yes, just, I can feel it. But he's here to show you his garden was his peace. He planted the seeds, and that's how he tried to make it up and make it beautiful for you. Yeah. And all of you.
Because of he had an orange tree in the backyard and used to. And it's funny, in the audio drama that I'm writing that I asked that, I said that, you know, I had a voice part if you were interested.
Yes.
The character grabs oranges and she shakes them from the tree. Oh my gosh,
I got chills. Yeah. So why did he come in? There you go.
Yeah. And and it's funny because I used to sit under that orange tree with my little notebooks, and my cousins were so mean. They would like take my notebooks and try to read my stories and stuff like that. I was writing under the orange tree. It was little mean cousins, but yeah, that was, so oranges and then like people who have come in my life is like being calm and sweet. Like oranges were always something, a gift that they
Reticent.
brought. Yeah, it was really
So that was
funny.
his gift to you to pass on. So
Oh.
lovely he came in.
Wow. So,
She's crying. That's lovely.
I know, I'm crying.
No,
like-
embrace your tears. Embrace it. It's beautiful. You know, this is how it works. It comes in. I don't force it.
Yeah.
So it's really lovely to acknowledge. And that was his gift. So every time you see an orange, you know, it's the light of him.
Yeah. I have certain signs, and I've learned this from manifesting and learning about manifesting, is that sometimes when you're aware of these signs, like butterflies, crows for me are a bad sign. I'm like, ooh, that's because every time something dark has happened, there's been crows. Rain, sometimes when there's like a little burst of rain, it's lucky.
Yeah.
Big days that things have happened, there's been a little rain burst. Coins.
My dad leaves me pennies, nickels, and dimes.
Yeah, coins.
Always.
You just leave them.
I find them
random
at the beach
places.
random. I will be in a room and been in that room 8 hours, and I'll come back and there's a dime. I'm like, oh.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yes,
thank you,
so-
universe.